request, find an existing value. So far, we have only used the Add a New Value tab on the Enrollment Request page, but there is a second tab titled Find an Existing Value that you may find extremely valuable. You can use this page to search for any and all previously made enrollment requests for any student or students for any terms. To find an existing enrollment request, we navigate to the Enrollment Request page in the usual way. Main menu, Student Enrollment, Enrollment Request. As we have seen, the default tab is Add a New Value, but if we select the Find an Existing Value tab, it will open up a new page that allows us to search for existing enrollment requests using a wide variety of criteria. For example, you can search by enrollment request ID or some portion of it. You can also search by a student's first and last name. Let's suppose that we know our student's EMPL ID. Term will be pre-populated if it is set in your data entry defaults, but you can also enter it. For this example, let's remove the term so that we can search for all the enrollment requests for our student for all of her terms. Click the search button and the search results will appear below. As you can see, all the search results are for our student Hermione Granger. Since we didn't specify a term, all of Hermione's enrollment requests for all terms appear in the search results. For example, term 1187 is fall 2018. 1193 is spring 2019. And 1197 is fall 2019. You may notice that the last few rows are for term 1203 spring 2020, and they are enrollment requests that we created in our examples. You can click on the data for a particular row in the results, and the existing enrollment request will open up in the enrollment request page, allowing you to see exactly what happened with all the enrollment actions in that particular request. View class rosters. The ability to view class rosters is something that now comes with SPIRE A, but I wanted to touch on it briefly in SPIRE B because there are a few connections between enrollment requests and class rosters, including some interesting functionality related to the waiting list. Class rosters have a drop-down titled Enrollment Status that allow you to display the students in the class who are enrolled, dropped, waiting, or all three statuses at once. When you display a class roster by enrollment status waiting, a new Enroll column in the class roster appears. Each student on the waiting list for the class gets an Enroll button in the Enroll column. When the Enroll button is clicked for a student on the waiting list, you will be sent to the enrollment request page for that student. Not only is that very convenient for working on further enrollment requests for that particular student, but the enrollment request page will also display the class number in text, which you can double-click on, hit Control-C to copy, and paste into the class number field on the page, which is very cool. To get to the View Class Rosters search page, navigate to Main Menu, Class Rosters and Reports, View Class Rosters. The term and subject area are both pre-populated in our example because we have them each set in our data entry defaults. Once you have set your preferred search criteria, click Search to get the search results. Here we have searched for all anthropology classes in spring 2020. In this first search example, our search returned 300 anthro classes for spring 2020, but I am only showing the first 17 classes that were returned. Let's go back to the View Class Roster search page and search for one particular class, a class that has students on the waiting list. To pare down our search results to one specific class, we will search for catalog number 269. since there is only one Anthro 269 North American Archaeology class in spring 2020, when we click search, we are taken directly to its class roster. Enrollment status is a drop-down list that can be used to change the results displayed on the roster. The default status is enrolled. There are 99 students enrolled in this class, but for simplicity, I am only showing the first 5 students who are enrolled. I think you get the idea. Here is the enrollment status drop-down list. Let's select Waiting to see the students currently on the waiting list for this class. The enrollment status is now waiting. There are 3 students currently on the waiting list for Anthro 269. During our examples, we put Hermione on the waiting list for this class and then changed her waitlist position to number 1. We can see that she appears on the waitlist in position number 1. A new column appears in the class roster titled Enroll. Each student on the waitlist has a corresponding Enroll button. Since George Weasley is a senior, we may choose to work on his enrollment. So let's click on George's Enroll button and see what happens. A brand new enrollment request form appears. Notice that the breadcrumb trail is a little bit different from the ones we have seen so far. This slightly varying breadcrumb trail happens in various places within SPIRE. We can see that the enrollment request is for George Weasley. This is the first time that we have seen a text message in this position on the form. The class number for the enrollment request is not filled in on the form as we might expect, but the message includes a class number in text that we may double-click on to select, and then right-click or hit Control-C to copy, and then paste into the class number field on the form for use in a new enrollment request. And Hermione lived happily ever after. Until next semester. And that brings us to the end of the training. If you've enjoyed SPIRE B, my name is Chris. If not, then my name is Charlie, and this has been Caps.